Welcome back to our channel. My name is Jasmine.
And I'm Dave.
And this is Engineered by God, where we navigate life from a Christian perspective.
So, as kids, a question that you're probably asked all the time is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think inherently in that, there's this idea that if you work hard enough, you can be anything you want to be. Like, the sky is the limit. And obviously, in theory, that is kind of true, I guess, especially in this whole, American dream type society that we live in. But in application, that doesn't typically turn out to be the case. I mean, obviously, if that was true, everyone who wrote a book would be a New York Times bestseller. Everyone who decided to become an actor or an actress would be on Hollywood, would be an A-list celebrity. But as real life plays out, we see that a lot of us are going to live kind of ordinary lives.
Which is just kind of, getting up, you go to your job, you come to your household, you eat, you get prepared for the next day, and you keep going, and you have limited vacation time that you can use to your advantage however you see fit. And I think it's a really just regular life, and we don't see so many people experience this regular life, but yet it's not really advertised, or it's not really like nobody wants to talk about the regular stuff, the boring stuff, you know what I mean? And even like the contrast, when you're younger, you're asked, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? But making you think that you can be whatever you want in the world, and like we said, but I think at the same time, there's also kind of a structure that you're given where you're supposed to, or the regular structure is to go to school, get good grades, then have some sort of post-high school education, trade school or college, and then get a job, and then get immersed into the real world where you're just having that you're just living that kind of mundane life. But nobody wants to show that on social media.
And the thing too is, like, as kids, like when you're studying literature or history or whatever, you're learning about trailblazers, people who changed the world, who did these extraordinary things. You're not really learning about someone who kind of got a regular job and just lived an average life, not a bad life, and a good life, but you're not really learning about those things. And the thing is, when you become an adult, there's still that piece of you that says, is there something more? Like, I want to do more than just this. And so, like, now there's a market for that. There are plenty of motivational speakers who will tell you, you can unlock your best life if you follow these 3 steps. I think it's easy to fall into that category. Fall into that space where you're like, is this it? Is this all that I'm going to be doing? I mean, for us, we've talked about it in multiple videos, but like we said, we did the whole go to school, go to college, get a job. We bought a house. We got married, bought a house, had kids, and now it's like, okay, what do we want to do? It just feels like we're living inside this box, and we didn't even think about the possibilities of other things that we could be doing. We were just kind of focused on this goal, I guess, that we had for ourselves, right? And we going back and forth. And specifically as Christians too, I think a lot of us, especially when we were young in our faith, may have had a bad mindset where we kind of put ourselves at the center. Like, there's a verse that's so taken out of context. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And a lot of times people will use that and say, yeah, I'm gonna make this closing, or I'm gonna get this house because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But when you read that verse in context, you understand that Paul's talking about being content in every situation that he's in, whether he has a lot or he has little, whether he's going through hardships or he's in times of joy. He can go through anything through Christ who's strengthening him, and being content in whatever situation God has placed them in.
Right, and that just completely goes against kind of what we're saying and how we're feeling right now. I mean, part of us starting this YouTube channel was just kind of like doing something different, doing something outside of the box, and just trying to make this time that we have on earth like worth something, you know what I mean?
Right. And not too long into it, you start thinking about the analytics. Like, hey, I just don't want to be a regular YouTube channel. I want to be extraordinary. I want our channel to go viral. I mean, obviously, like, that's a normal thing. You want to excel at whatever you do, but that thing inside of you that is unsatisfied with your life. Like I think about Instagram, for example. Like you take a picture, it's not good enough just to say having fun with the fam. You gotta have this amazing caption. You gotta have the right filter. It has to be the right angle. Like it's like people go on trips with the pictures they're gonna post in mind.
Literally, they think about their outfits are based on like they think about all these fire outfits that they have to have so they can take the best picture, get the best lighting, and it's like,
and then you can't even enjoy the moments you're in because I gotta get this picture so I can be a little above ordinary today.
Or make people think that I am. You know?
So the question we wanted to tackle is, what's so bad about being ordinary?
Yeah.
Quick break though, as we're talking about, ordinary things, why don't you do something pretty ordinary for us right now and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you like this video so far, hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, let the algorithm know that we're doing something a little more than ordinary maybe. What's so bad about having a quote unquote regular life and finding real joy in that?
And I think the key to, I guess, getting out of this space where you feel like it's bad or you feel like, you don't want to just be ordinary and then die. I think it stems from kind of that verse that we mentioned earlier from Paul. And I think the key to that is like highlights a mindset shift. You know what I mean? Like you're changing the way you think about life, the way you approach life. And so in turn, that's going to affect, your view on the world and how you feel about your situation and where you are at that moment.
Right. I think I think one of the things that is really important, especially as Christians, is understanding that our end goal isn't, the grave. Like we have an eternity mindset. And I think it makes sense if you think that this is all that there is, that you have to get as much out of this life as possible, because once it's over, it's over. But we understand that we have a greater goal than just this earth here. And so even if you're not, whatever crazy, amazing, goal that you want to hit, or, you're not the CEO of this top company, that you have a relationship with Christ. So you're already extraordinary at that point. Like God knows you. Like that's an amazing thing in of itself.
Yeah.
And as you go through life, because of that truth that you can find peace in any moment. You can find joy in any moment.
And that kind of goes, that's basically kind of goes with wrapping your identity up in Christ. You know what I mean? And I think that helps you really understand what is important in life. And I think this happens to a lot of people, right? Where they may experience some tragedy. We've seen it, as we go through the pandemic, and there's a lot of people dying, and it just makes you feel so grateful for all the little things you have, for your health, for waking up that day, for your family, for your family's health, for being able to walk, for being able to, do a bunch of things that just seem ordinary and regular. But if you're in Christ, I feel like you should be thinking that way in general, like practicing. People say it all the time, practicing gratitude. I think that is a really good thing to get into the habit of doing, because it really makes you just appreciate all the little things that God has given you and allowed you to steward over your life,
Right. And another thing that's important, and we've heard this all the time, but not comparing yourself to other people. Firstly, God is in control of everything in our lives. So if God has put us in a certain position, we can rest assured that this is where we're supposed to be. Whether it's good or bad, we can be rest assured that, hey, this is what's best according to his plan, and his plan is better than my plan. But secondly, like when you're comparing, it's like sometimes what we do, unfortunately, is we compare, let's say, our starting position with someone's end position.
Right.
Like we don't see all the work and the toiling and all the stuff that they've had to go through to reach that goal that they're at in the moment. And so we're not really comparing the same thing. And also, like when you're comparing, you're just looking at what other people have, but you're blind to what you have. Like if you're always comparing someone else's family, well, now you're missing out of time with your own family. And so like just getting rid of that comparison mindset.
Yeah. But like we said, I mean, it all boils down to your changing your mindset, a mindset shift, and making your focus on Christ as opposed to on the world, and yourself at the center.
And perspective too, because I think sometimes we normal. Sometimes we like don't understand how amazing normal is. Like the fact that you have running water or you can have plumbing, like it, assuming that you have those things, that you can have electricity or food, reliable food, like whenever you want it. Sometimes the normal, it just seems like, yeah, I can always, just flick the light switch on, light comes on. But that is an amazing thing, because if those things that are normal to us were gone, like we were like, you would really feel how incredible those things are when they're taken away. And it's like what Jazz was saying earlier, having gratitude before tragedy, before something's taken away from you, being grateful for what you have.
Yeah. But I guess let's end on a note, like, what is something ordinary that you are grateful for?
I'm gonna say my job. I feel like just before this video, we be talking about like, man, I wish we didn't have to go to work tomorrow. I wish we could just, just be at home and just get paid for living. But it is a great thing to be able to have employment, you know what I mean? And know that I have a skill that people value and that I can make money from that skill. So yeah, I mean, am I excited to go to work on Mondays? No, I'm not excited. Come on. But at the same time, I am grateful, because if I didn't have that job and I needed one, then it'd be like, man, I wish I had something that I could, make money with.
Yeah. And for me, I think it's just being able to wake up in the morning. I think one thing that I've just been trying to do is making sure that I thank God every morning when I wake up. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But just really, truly being grateful that I am healthy. I am able to wake up. I'm able to breathe on my own and do those type of things, because there's a lot of people in our family or in my family that can't do those things. So I think that that's what mine is.
And honestly, guys, we're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go. But seriously, like we're talking about like these things, like but we haven't mastered this. There are days where we kind of wish, man, I wish our YouTube platform can be like this person, where we have all these subscribers, or I wish, like I was making this much money. Like we have those moments too, where we kind of wish that we were the extraordinary, like the poster child of whatever the things that we're chasing after. But we always have to remind ourselves that, first of all, our identity is in Christ. It's not even about our all of our accomplishments. It's about his accomplishment, you know what I mean? And then just remembering to be grateful for what we have, and just being okay with being ordinary.
So we want to ask you guys in the comments, what's something ordinary that you were just really grateful for? But that's it for us. That's it for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope if you guys enjoyed it and found value in this video, we hope that you guys give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, we hope you guys subscribe, and ring the bell notification if you want to know when we upload. But that is for us.